All right. Before I made the video, I'm going to have to look through these now because I've been taking so many days fiddle-faddling with my computer systems and RC on. There's probably a likelihood that I won't be able to jump on today. I don't know. I got to see. Yeah, I got to see. So, anyway. One of the things I wanted to bring up was, so now we have COVID. Not only did do we now have all congressional record, the testimony, the emails, the data says this was an untested drug, being an untested theoretical method being tested on everybody. And this was clear from anybody who understood how biology and viruses work or anything about medicines. You would know that this is the case, that this was ginned up within like a year's time or something, and that doesn't even make sense. And then anybody who knows anything about genetics in any way would know, like, one of the worst possible things you could go fiddling around with is something like messenger RNA and stuff. So now we know also that there's now contamination problems, that it looks like people are producing spike proteins a year to 2 years after they received the vaccine. And these are people who they never reported being infected. They got the the vaccine as a prophylactic for whatever reason. Like that made sense to defend yourself against the sniffles that couldn't sniffles so weak the children couldn't even get it. So I just want to make sure. Oh yes, and deaths from COVID have been rounded down severely. They've been rounded down in the United States. China always said we only had 400,000 deaths, and it's looking like that's actually correct. That what more and more as the people go over all the numbers and how deaths were recorded and such, they're like, yes, if we record deaths according to what was actually known, from what happened to them, no, that we have far fewer people who died of COVID. So now the COVIDiots are almost the worst people who've ever lived. And January 6th now is falling apart as well. That now we have the issue of this widespread phenomena of January 6th people not having charges against them, being lost in the prison system somehow. They get moved around from cell to cell to cell so much that they don't even show up in court to be arraigned for over a year. I mean, it's so many of these that there's actually going to be federal judges who are going to go to prison for what they've done to these people. There's going to be lawyers who will be disbarred over this. This is going to change the Bar Association. Right now, I'm already realizing, no, this is going to change the Bar Association, because so many of these fucking lawyer shark pieces of shit were going to do, they were willing to do anything to anybody, gin up any fucking contrivance of the law to jail people who had anything to do with Trump or MAGA. That's now becoming overwhelmingly clear, and that these were all people who had an agenda, so it became conspiratorial. And then you have this, that it was clear to any personal trainer or nurse, anyone who knows about how the human body operates, knows. Massage therapists would have known this. Physical therapists would have known this. Speech therapists all knew Joe Biden was fucked. Within the very first year, he was showing signs of severe neurological and mental decline. Anyone with any knowledge of this would have known this. It showed in his gait. It showed in the way he would try to balance himself. It would show in the way his arms and hands moved as he walked. It would show in the way that his mouth would hang open. It would hang open because he couldn't keep it shut. Because as you get older, that becomes more and more difficult. Your nervous system is dying. So you actually no longer do certain things as a reflex. He was forgetting things all the time. And the fact that both vocal memory issue, vocal cadence memory issues, and movement, physical movement of his body, proprioception, was all obviously being affected. It was obvious that this was a cascading failure of this man's abilities. And everyone denied it. This is now going to be one of the most important issues about Democrats going forward. Now it's the issue of, I have to presume you're probably lying to me, or because this is just what you all do. This is who you really are. That nothing else matters. It just nothing at all matters. Azov Battalion totally were neo-Nazis. They're still in charge. It doesn't matter to you guys that this is the case. A war being prosecuted by a man who can barely speak or walk. Oh, sure, he's the commander-in-chief, right. No, a lot of you who are Ukraine supporters, there's a special place in hell starting to be fashioned for you. And you should have understood this. You should have understood this from the start. You should have just taken the fucking L, especially those of you who are Republicans and you're supporting this Ukraine issue. You should have taken the fucking L. You were beating your chest for Mein Führer, fucking false generalissimo shuffle pants, Was it Diddler Pete? What was he called? Pedo Peter or something yeah. And that everything, the one that gets me are especially the Republican supporters of our efforts in Ukraine, that they would hate Joe Biden for all these reasons. But suddenly, this one issue of war, well, but I mean, even though that junta, that fucking Obama, Soros, and the EU had happened, that then caused an ethnic cleansing effort across Western Ukraine. No, we should still support this, because even though Joe is a fucking incompetent old bastard, this is a good idea. You got this idea right. Amazing. And anyone who looked into, especially when the gray zone got into, has anybody looked into this kind of this issue of the Ukrainian government in exile? And who do we find? We find Joe Biden. This was some speech he gave at a meeting that was at some big dinner that was all these Ukrainian people. And this is years and years and years ago. And it was I think the Gray Zone or somebody else, they found this article. It wasn't even that the Gray Zone reported it. This was in some kind of Canadian paper about how he was all Slava Ukraine, way back, before any of this happened. So he's been apparently connected to some effort that goes, he's connected in some way to Ukraine going back a good bit of time. And then when I think of where he's from, I'm kind of I'm getting a feeling about this, I think a long time from now, we're going to find out about all this, the Whitey Bulger thing, the Ukrainian government in exile, why his son in Russian whores, or who, yeah, something. There's a piece, some kind of piece that's going to come into this that is going to make it like, this is who he was beholden to, or who he was collecting from all the time, and but anyway, now we have those things. So Fauci is facing charges, from what I understand, in multiple countries now, indictments and or charges in multiple countries. It does look like he lied to Congress, and that Congress is actually trying to protect him. So again, the kind of thing when government goes out of its way to like try to be like, no, we didn't do anything wrong. That's what's happening now. We didn't do anything wrong. No. No. This guy can't give testimony, because then secrets of the government will come out, and that's not good. You gotta keep the government's secrets from the people in secrets, something like that. It makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. Let me put it another way. So I'm really enjoying now that people like Destiny are now becoming these people who you could sort of say like, so if we listen to guys like this, you end up like a drugged up mental cuckold cocksucker who almost every single thing you stand for leads to people actually dying. Like if you listen to Destiny, you'll end up being with a cock in your mouth on videotape, being giggled at probably by your ex-wife who fleeced you, and that almost everything that you think is a good idea will get people killed in very large numbers, and that it's inherent to your what you literally don't have the ability to do anything that will make people's lives better. That's amazing. That's amazing now. I really am enjoying like when you realize where you're like, I am so glad I'm not in that club. I am so glad I am not in that club. All right, later on.